today, some extra information, some extra, a little extra spice to make it today, August 13th, 2025. Circles around his eyes. It was described that his deep circles had circles. He also was resigned him later. Hank and Ramsey's lawyer went to find him. So Hank went out to find him. Ramsey's lawyer went out to find him. Eventually, they did find him. When he came in, he was dressed in a suit. He had a nice buzz cut. You're going to see photos of him later, but he looked gaunt. He looked thin. He had deep circles around his eyes. It was described that his deep circles had circles. He also was resigned. He did not make faces. He didn't look around at the crowd. He didn't stick out his tongue like he did in previous engagements, previous court dates. So
bro's getting fucking destroyed, bro.
He had a huge attitude shift going forward into this date. There was also a new interpreter sworn in. Last time there were interpreting issues, we had a new one, and the reviews from everybody, including people who spoke Korean and were doing translating for the Somali conviction team, was this translator was excellent. Not just good, excellent, perfect, 10 out of 10, great interpreter.
Bro, I bet the jury and the judge, whenever he came in, they were like, this is working, we're winning.
Which was amazing.
If it could bleed, we could kill it.
Let's talk about, first of all, the first thing that came up was, did Hank lie? Now, Hank, in an interview recently with K-Town Social Club, said that Ramsey is no longer living with him, and Ramsey gave Hank's address in court. So either Hank was lying on the interview, or it's contempt of court.
Yep.
It's contempt of court. That's an additional crime that he's committing there. Or Hank is lying. I'm not going to say which way it is. You guys can kind of make up your mind.
He probably said that so that way people wouldn't go to his apartment and mess with them.
Most people seem to think it's probably a lie to throw them off the trail, but who knows? We don't really know. Hank also appeared to be distancing himself from Somali in a recent interview, but he sat in the front row. He went to find Ramsey, and he escorted him home with the lawyer in a cab. So he essentially was right there winging him the entire time. And right now we're going to get into the next part, which was a disaster, which was Ramsey's lawyer. Now, this is not to say he's incompetent or there's anything in terms of skill. Once again, as a lawyer, even if you're an amazing lawyer, you can be handed a bad case.
I think this is going to be a bad case for him.
The thing that's going on here is if the client tells you to argue something, you kind of have to argue it, even if you don't want to. So if the client says, hey, I want to plead not guilty, but you don't really have any evidence, you don't have any backup, the argument really doesn't work, well, you have to go with that.
He must be talking about the deep fakes, how he doesn't want to get charged for distributing them. He wants to get he's trying to get off not guilty for distribution, but he did, I believe he claimed that he made them.
A really good lawyer, even an amazing lawyer, can kind of be put in a bad place. And I kind of feel bad for Ramsey's attorney because it's very clear that Johnny and his,
Johnny's cooked, man. Let's be honest here. Bro is fucking donezo. There's no
these
way.
Arguments in that just do not work in court. They're not Korean lawyers. They don't know Korean law. Johnny's not a Korean lawyer, but he's trying to force these arguments that just don't work in the Korean system.
Yeah.
And it led to a lot of losses today. Loss after loss after loss. There was not a single, and perhaps the dossier prepared by his Discord by this. He could not answer. He said, hey, we submitted that to the court. So, hey, what evidence do you have? And the lawyer was completely flustered by this. He could not answer.
Well, what did he think was going to happen?
We submitted that to the court. So, you should have that, right? But he couldn't, when pressed, give any of the information, any defense at all. He couldn't remember any specifics. That's not good. Now, what may have happened here is Johnny may have had this packet of information, perhaps the dossier prepared by his Discord, which was submitted to the judge or submitted to the court. However,
he kept the lawyer out of the loop. He should have given it to the lawyer and made sure that the lawyer knew what he was submitting. There could be some bad stuff on there that could actually condemn him.
He memorized that, didn't really go through it. Maybe he's busy. Maybe he didn't have time. Maybe he didn't understand it. Who knows? We don't know what's going on. But that was a very bad look and did not look good in court. Beyond that, Ramsey's lawyer tried to complain about late notice and procedure, and he tried to kind of make it sound like the prosecution was doing something bad or untoward or unofficial or breaking the rules. And now the prosecutor, and I have been in this courtroom, I've seen the prosecutor. The prosecutor looks like a very nice, mild-mannered, calm guy. I watched him an entire day in court cases. I sat in another day and watched like 6-7 trials. This guy never was aggressive. He never got angry, was very calm and collected, very professional. But
you would be surprised whenever you talk logically about something, when you actually pull your emotions out of something and you use your brain, how often people, they come across as you're being mean or you're being a dick, or they say all these weird things to you whenever you're just looking at something logically and you're just trying to move on with your day. Like, sorry, but some people just aren't run by emotions. It's normal. I don't know if you know this, but surprisingly enough, back in the day, a lot of people were told to turn their emotions off and do their damn job. And I would assume that Korea is probably still on that boat for obvious reasons, because you can't have a bunch of people at work not doing their damn job and complaining about how hard it is. Like, come on now.
all the reports from the courtroom today, and I went over several after the stream. I asked several sources. I said, hey, was this what happened? And they said, yes. He aggressively countered Ramsey's lawyer in a way in which is not typical for a prosecutor to normally do. Pretty much, Ramsey's lawyer was saying, hey, you're doing something wrong. And the prosecutor got up and said, oh, hell no. And excuse my language, or I'll put some in the swear jar, but said, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I think they know that they got Ramsey. I think they know that they got Somali, and they're not going to deal with any BS because they've got so many like pictures and recordings of him actually doing the crimes. Like, obviously they wouldn't stand for, the lawyer trying to even remotely get a foot into anything. They're trying to throw the book at this guy. I mean, I'd probably do the same thing.
All
I don't blame him a bit.
we gave was proper. Everything was legal. We followed the procedure, and the judge quickly stepped in and took the side of the prosecutor, not Ramsey's lawyer, overruled Ramsey's lawyer, and said verbatim, this is not an issue, move on. So absolute procedural L, massive procedural L for Ramsey's lawyer. Going beyond that, there was the new charge. I
think what it really boils down to is the lawyer is getting flustered and he's getting frustrated because everything that he's trying to do, he knows that he can get caught on. And this prosecutor's not having it. That's what it sounds like to me. It sounds like this prosecutor's like, nope, not today, bitch. Not today.
The additional obstruction. That's once again, the fourth obstruction charge that was coming up.
Jesus.
It was revealed that this new charge was
Bro's going to be in Korea probably till like mid next year.
On two
still
buses
doing court proceedings
on September 27, 2024. Now,
Jesus.
This was before they stated stuff like playing loud music and TTS and playing North Korean propaganda. Now, mind you,
that's a big one.
He is not charged under the terrorism statute, under the terrorism law.
Yet.
He's still charged under obstruction of business. So it doesn't change the nature and make him guilty of terrorism. However, it does conclude that they were factoring in the fact that he was playing North Korean propaganda.
Maybe that's how they're going to get him. So what's going to happen is I bet he pleaded guilty, right, to these new obstruction charges. That's automatically what I bet they're probably trying to do is they're going to use this playing North Korean propaganda. They're going to try and get him. It's going to be okay. So let me break it down. So they're going to try. If he pleads guilty to this, he's going to get the North Korean propaganda, playing the North Korean propaganda, and then I'd imagine he's got other charges that have him doing stuff that's like pro North Korea, right? So they're going to put that together, that he pled guilty to these things. They're going to come up with the terrorism charge, and they're going to slap him with it. Watch. I bet that's what they're going to do. Because they also have him saying the other things of like what he had said, and he had to plead guilty to that because it was recorded. So I guarantee you what's going to happen here is if he keeps pleading guilty to some of these charges that involve North Korea, he's going to get slapped with that terrorism charge.
Oh, and they were listening to that.
It's like a small case it's like a small puzzle being put together to make the big puzzle.
To disrupted operations, and ultimately for a obstruction of business.
How's it going, the creator? It's been a minute.
Disturb normal operations of business, you are guilty. So therefore, Ramsey knew he was dead to rights on this and pled guilty to this new obstruction charge. So once again, another guilty on the bucket. Now we're going to talk about the
man. How's it going with you?
That he pled guilty to. So previously, Ramsey had pled not guilty to the Lotte World charge. That is going into Lotte World, causing a scene, disrupting the ride, causing the ride to close.
He also, the minor offense. That's right. He did. I think he did something to a minor as well.
We had a huge surprise today. We thought the witness for today was going to be Bong Bong. Everybody thought that, myself included. And you know what? I was wrong. Look at that. I'm admitting I was wrong here. It was actually the witness that was a staff woman from Lotte World who repeatedly told Ramsey
it was the lady that you could see in the background trying to talk to him about throwing the noodles at the door. I think it was
by the fact that he would not stop filming, and you could see that in the video, in the original video.
She actually tried to help him. She tried to inform him that what he's doing is illegal, and he like snapped at her, and she went away.
Viewed that video. I'm not going to show her because I don't want to put her face out there and make it, put any pressure on her or anything else. But you can see in her face that she was not happy about it, and she showed up. And Ramsey changed his plea to guilty on the Lotte World charge.
Yeah, from what I understand, he didn't even she didn't even have to get up and testify against him. He just changed it the minute he saw her. He was like, nope, I'm guilty. So
he may have been gambling that the Lotte World witness would no-show and saying, okay, if the witness no-shows, then okay, we can go and not guilty.
I guarantee you she was probably forced to go there by the government. I bet that she got told that if she doesn't show up, she's going to be facing jail time. So she just did her part.
She's going to no-show and not be there. However, she showed up and was highly motivated to be there. So big shout out to Lotte World. Big shout out for filing this charge. This is one that a lot of members of the SC team, my team, worked really, really hard to see if we can get pressed, to see if we can get in there. And big shout out to the people that helped out, especially people like Bang TV and the others in Korea that really helped press this charge. So because he changed his plea from guilty to not guilty, he now has 6 confirmed guilty charges.
Jesus.
4 obstruction of business and 2 minor crimes act. So he is a confirmed repeat offender, repeat criminal with all of these. And once again, each charge stacks up the amount of time he can be in jail. At this point, the maximum is 12 years. However, even the default, even the standard punishment would be over 4 years in jail. Even if they don't give him the aggravated maximum of 12 years, the standard,
I'm sorry to hear that.
The non-aggravated is 4 years and some change in terms of months. So even not counting the deep,
I'm kind of surprised that with each charge, it doesn't push it closer to being aggravated. Like if it's like, you can get charged 4 times for something, but at the second charge, it becomes aggravated and turns them all into aggravated charges. I'm kind of surprised they don't have a system like that.
Now, one important thing is Ramsey's lawyer.
4 charges of obstruction of business is fucking crazy. That's crazy.
Seems to think obstruction and all this is a joke. He actually was scoffing and laughing, etc., when they were talking about obstruction, like, oh, it's not a big deal. This is a big deal, and people have gone to jail for years in Korea for this. Absolutely. So now we have it here, like we said, 4 guilty for the obstruction of business, guilty on the Minor Crimes Act.
Hey, you remember the last time we went over this, he didn't know what this was.
On the deepfake. These are his pleas. Of course, he's going to have to fight this at the next trial. Yep. And I do believe there's
damn, look at all that. You just turned them all to guilty, dude.
Sufficient evidence to find him guilty on the deepfake counts. We're going to talk about that next.
Jesus.
But now we know the 4th count is for the bus North Korean propaganda, the loud music, because this is one that absolutely carries prison time right off the bat. The statute will not allow for fines. It's straight.
It's the only one where you can't pay a fine. You have to go to jail. Keep that in mind. The deepfake charge is the only one where he has to go up to 7 years in prison. And he's got 2 charges of it. So this could be really bad for him.
Than a cup of noodles. Going on, let's talk about the deepfakes. And the deepfake is the crime that Johnny Somali fears the most. He's scared to death because this is one that absolutely carries prison time right off the bat. The statute will not allow for fines. It's straight to prison, no other option. Now,
rightfully so.
The deepfake was a disaster for Johnny's defense. They pretty much confessed. Let's talk about this. So Ramsey's,
from what I understand, I think that you could get into a lot of trouble for even owning it, much less making it. But they're trying to slap him with creating it. and distributing it.
Lawyer argued that Ramsey doesn't know how to make a deepfake, that he is incompetent to make a deepfake, which, look, we all know that's BS. It takes 2 seconds to make a deepfake.
In AI. You can have one made in AI.
There's AI, there's other mechanisms. Anybody can make a deepfake, and Ramsey is certainly capable of it. But beyond that, that's what the lawyer said makes him innocent. The lawyer said he didn't make it, so because he didn't make it, he's innocent. But the prosecutor immediately countered. Once again, getting up there, getting in their face. Great job by the prosecution. Amazing performance. Said, so you deny making the deepfake, but you admit, you confess to distributing, which is publishing the deepfake. Ramsey's lawyer said, well, he was drunk. He admits
that's not an excuse. Stop.
Distribution, but denies production.
So here's the thing. I think that because he admitted it, but he's not going to plead guilty, I think it jumps to aggravated.
So saying he confesses that he distributed, but denies production. First of all, there is no I was drunk defense in the statute. Being drunk or high or whatever is not a defense. It's did you do it or not? There's no state of mind involved here. So being drunk is not at all going to mitigate this or make this better.
No.
Not relevant. The only thing that is irrelevant statute, I want you guys to know, he's really going to be hit under number 3 or number 4 here, but you have to read number 2 because number 3 here under the distribution of false video products, the deepfake law, Article 14.2. Article 3 here says a person who commits a crime under paragraph 2 by means and information of communication networks against the will of the subject, Bong Bong and Youngman, and making profits, he was streaming and making money, shall be punished by imprisonment with labor for not more than 7 years. It also says somebody who habitually commits this can have it aggravated.
Yep.
So that's a big one as well. So he's going to be charged under 3 or 4 here, but this one, he obviously made profit, and we got to read paragraph 2 to find out, okay, what does it describe the crime as? Well, what's the crime? Does it say a person who makes a deepfake? No, it actually doesn't say that. Although
so what it says is published, meaning that because he distributed it, he put it out online, he's going to be under the full. He's going to be.
It does have in another statute in number 1, a person who edits it, synthesizer process. But number 2, it says a person who has published. The only thing that's important to the crime is that he put it on screen.
Yep.
And because he has now confessed, he put it on screen. In the eyes of the judge and the prosecutor, it's done. It's a shut case. It's over, baby.
Yep.
He's just admitted to it. Now, he's entitled to his right to fight back. He can question the witnesses. And we're going to talk about the witnesses in a second, because that was a whole other loss for it. And I've been,
I bet.
People. Youngman, one of the, he's. So let's continue here. There was a huge loss. Once again, another disaster regarding the witnesses. So Ramsey's lawyer was fighting tooth and nail not to allow the deepfake witnesses. He did not want those deepfake witnesses to come in. That would have been disastrous for him in his mind. Well, the prosecution argued that since Ramsey admits distribution but denies production, the witnesses have to be allowed. They must be allowed for arguing back about the production. The judge sided immediately with the prosecution and allowed the witnesses. Says, no. If you're still fighting this, if you're still pleading not guilty, we're going to allow the witnesses.
Yep.
Now, Ramsey's lawyer went beyond that. So once again, another overrule trying to get rid of him. Now Ramsey's lawyer said, okay, I want extended cross-examination. Instead of the standard 15-minute cross-examination of each witness, I want 25 minutes.
Jesus.
The judge denied Ramsey's request. Guys, this is massive. In Korean procedure, in discussing this with lawyers and people experienced with the process, this almost never happens.
Yeah.
Typically, if they request this, they give it. This is the judge telling Ramsey to cope and seethe. It's saying, we don't think your defense has enough. It's not worth it to give you 25 minutes. It's not going to prove anything. So all that dossier, all that other stuff, whatever else you think is relevant, that's really not worth 25. You've got 15 minutes for each witness, 15 minutes for Bong Bong, 15 minutes for Youngman, so 30 minutes total.
Yep.
It'll probably go, about an hour maybe-ish next trial. And that's all you've got. Ramsey's lawyer just has 15 minutes, and we'll see what he does with those 15 minutes. It probably is going to be pretty crazy. Maybe Somali knew that, but what I'm saying is 29th, same courthouse, 2 p.m. So right before Halloween,
next one's in October,
we're going to have a spooky surprise for Somali. And the deepfake witnesses will be called next time, Bong Bong and Youngman. So they will be called.
And
to
from what I
testify.
understand, they actually showed up to supposedly they travel quite a bit, but they're in the city, probably gearing up for this. They gonna take him down, brother. They gonna take him down.